One of the three of us is a bit of a hater for the news today, but
How am I a
that
hater for that? Look, I'm not a hater. I know what I saw in the playoffs, and I think that I just have a preference. It's not hate. I'm a big, you know what? Um, Welcome back
listen,
to the podcast, episode 6. The Orange and Blue Crew is back. A little bit of a hiatus. I had to do some traveling again. I was at the NCAA women's tournament following South Dakota State. They were in Spokane at Gonzaga. So as a college basketball junkie, someone who loves college basketball, I can cross that off my list. I do have to go back for a men's game though, because I mean they packed it for the women, but I definitely want to go back for a men's game too. So that's something I got to add to my list. But at least I've been there, so I can say I've been there. So I still got to get to Pauley Pavilion. I still got to get to USC,
Yeah, gotta get to the Galen
UCLA, the
Center.
Palestra, the Galen Center. Yeah, I got to get to Allen Fieldhouse. So I still got some places to cross off, but I can at least cross off the Kennel is what they call it. It's the McCarthy Center, but they call it the Kennel. But yeah, a little bit of a hiatus, so we apologize for that. But a lot of Knicks uh stuff has been going down in the past few days, and where I wanted to start was looking at if you guys remember in our last episode where we ended off, we talked about what would we want our record to be over the 5 game stretch starting with the Trailblazers. And right now, uh I think everyone wanted 3-2, and I think we went through
Hmm.
that stretch 4-1. Started with the
Yeah.
Trailblazers. We beat them on the road, beat the Kings on the road, which is a really tough win. Brunson went off. Then we beat the Warriors, on Monday night. Lost to the Nuggets, which I think all of us thought we would lose to the Nuggets. I mean, we beat them by 30. They were going to be a little extra motivated, and we could have won. It wasn't like an unwinnable game, but it was just one of those where, like, if you lose, you're not surprised. So lost to the Nuggets, and then took care of business against the Nets, and then on Monday night, this past Monday night, against the Pistons. We're recording this right now on Wednesday, March 27th. So yeah, that entire 5 game stretch has gone by since then. So yeah, let's just start there. I mean, over that 5 game stretch, like I said, I think all of us said bare minimum 3-2. And I think the one game that we expected that we would struggle with was that Kings game. And I mean, everyone struggled that wasn't
Hmm.
named Jalen Brunson, but a huge win nonetheless. So, I mean, just we'll start with you, Uncle Reek. What impressed you the most in that 5 game stretch? Because I mean, to go 4-1, the way we did, we looked really, really good. And I think we're trending in the right direction, especially getting some characters back who, like you said at the top, we're getting some folks back. But what impressed you the most over that 5 game stretch?
the thing that impressed me most was the thing that always impresses me with this team, and it is their passion. Like it, that's the thing that has transitioned this. That's the thing that's made this new Nick experience this season so much more enjoyable because that they've established an identity. That identity is what I was counting on when they went on the road. And when they went out there, took it to Golden State, avenged that win, avenged that loss in the Garden. Then Sacramento, where we thought, listen, the beginning of that game, Sabonis had it going. That cat was, I
Hmm.
mean, crossovers, coast to coast, layups, and one. He just looked like a superstar on the court that in the first half. Second half, invisible. Shut him completely down. And that's the coach's job to get the guys motivated. But I think right now this team, in terms of their attitude, in terms of their own identity, I think they've bought in completely to what Thibs is talking about, and they took it personally. So what impresses me is that they take these experiences personally, and you can see it in the games and how they play and how they attack. Perfect case in point, the Dante DiVincenzo show the other night. Now that's just the Pistons game, We all had it chalked off as a win, but they come out and then Dante is just on fire. But they made it their business to get Dante the record, not only just because it was the record, because Fournier was in the house. And Fournier took it personally. Fournier, when he was stuck on 9, after they took away 1, was playing the best defense of his life. Well, because he's never played defense. That he did not want Dante to get that record on him. And, you know, he actually didn't, but he got it once they switched off the assignment. But that's it. It's their attitude and that they've bought in and that they're trying to get these wins for themselves. That's the mark of a true team. Like, they get it and they know what they're fighting for. And sky's the limit when I think in team sports, when everybody is bought in, and Dante was talking about that in the paper in the interview he had about Tibbs and Tibbs' coaching strategies. Everybody's in. Like, we're going to get this thing, and this is how we're going to do it. That's what makes me excited. So that was most impressive.
Jai, what impressed you during this 5-game stretch? I know you're typically, I feel like you're more objectively critical, a little more analytically, analyzing the game as far as like, numbers and stats, but I feel like you've been saying a lot of good stuff. What was your biggest takeaway from the 5-game stretch?
My biggest takeaway was that Kings game. It like reinvigorated this like fascination I have with Tibbs and his just like it's always like when you doubt Tibbs the most is when he proves to you why he's such a good coach. And in this game, for people who don't know, Domantas Sabonis is absolutely rolling. He's having the season of his career, and he's having one of the best seasons, I guess, double wise of all time. I think he just beat the single season.
He just broke the record.
Yeah,
consecutive double doubles.
Yeah, well, he beat Kevin Love's record. And he, we didn't need to make him break the record. He still got this double double against us pretty much in the first quarter. But the way we responded after that was like reflective of the way that they got played in the first round last year against the Warriors. It was the Warriors, right? Yeah, it was the Warriors in the first round. They figured out later down the stretch of that series that sticking AD on Sabonis was going to be the answer. And I feel like we had Precious on Sabonis to start the game. And then we switched and OG was still with us. We had not OG on Sabonis, but he was in there for support. But we had Hartenstein in his limited minutes against Sabonis, and then it was over. He was completely silent. He completely neutralized everything that Sabonis had going. It was clean defense. It was nothing dirty. There were some plays down the stretch that were a little bit controversial as far as fouls go, but I was really, really impressed with the way we adjusted in that game because, like Dad said, I think he started the game 6 for 7 from the field in the first quarter or something like that. And it looked like just one of those nights where there's somebody that was going to be playing that we couldn't stop. But that Kings game really, really, really had me excited because I was feeling pretty down about injuries and people not coming back and whatnot. And then, whether or not we're going to be able to capitalize and stay in this, 3, 4, 5 seed area. But yeah, now I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to be able to get it done no matter what pieces we have.
Yeah. Now, I would say for me, I just kind of like what you said, Uncle Reek, just the energy around this team. Like, it's just such a breath of fresh air to watch a team that you can tell enjoys playing the game. Like, there's those teams that win championships and they kind of just have like, it's a little like they're a little boring in a way. Like they know what they're going to do. Sometimes they'll coast and it doesn't feel, but you can tell this team is hungry. Now, are we the favorites? No, I'm not that naive, or we're not favorites, but I would argue we got to be a top, no worse than like a top 6 or 7, contender. And I think just in terms of when you factor that into what we've been through over the past, decade plus, and the energy, the passion, the excitement, like it's fun to watch the Knicks. It used to be a chore to watch the Knicks, but now like it's like I look forward to watching every night. Like, Dante breaking the record, like how often, like when do, like it's always, look, the last guy to break a record in MSG was Steph Curry coming into our gym, breaking the all-time record. Like, when
Yeah.
was the last time we've been able to celebrate these types of records? This season it's been, Brunson's first All-Star, welcoming OG, and embracing him and what he can bring. And again, Dante with the breaking the single game record. Josh Hart having, like I said in the last episode,
Multiple triple
yeah,
doubles.
no triple doubles in 2023, no triple doubles, I believe, in his entire career.
Career.
The new year starts, he's got 5. I think he had another one the other night.
6.
So now, no, 6, excuse me. So
Yep.
you've got things to be excited about. Like, it's just really fun watching this team. And I think to come out of that stretch 4-1, obviously impressive. Sometimes you have those games where you need your guy to just be a guy, and that's what that Kings game was. I was kind of feeling the same way like you guys were saying, where I think you, Jai, mentioned that he was 6 for 7, and it felt like, oh, this is gonna be one of those, Sabonis gonna have 38, 17, and 12, but I think he finished with like 23. Like, after the start that he had to the game, to finish with 23 points, incredible adjustment by Tibbs, and a great job by the guys of digging in defensively and forcing other guys to step up that night, which we did. It was a low scoring game, which I was getting worried about our scoring. Now, albeit some of these games are against a bit of lesser teams competition wise, but we're scoring the ball, and that's what you need. Like, it had been a while since we scored 120, 115.
Yes.
Like, we had gone through a stretch during those Sixers games, that Celtics game, where we hadn't really gone over, I think maybe like 105 for a minute. And not that going over 105 is an absolute necessity. In the playoffs, game 5 of the NBA Finals last year was like 92 to 87. So you don't need to score a million points, but it's nice to know that your offense is flowing enough where, every once in a while you're capable of scoring 120, 130 even. So it's been nice to see us scoring. But yeah, just the energy, the excitement, the fun that this team plays with. It is unbelievable. And also, just we have a team that surpasses our expectations. Like, think about that. Like, we were all satisfied with 3-2. All of us expected 3-2,
Right.
and we got 4-1. Like, when is the last time you had a Knicks team that you had expectations for and they exceeded them? They surpassed them.
Expectations,
right? Like, last year, I think just the totality of last season was surpassing expectations. But just at various points, we're still not even fully healthy, and we're still surpassing expectations and doing more than what's expected of us. I think some people are kind of starting to fall into the lull of, well, we were battling injuries and we lost a few games against teams over 500, but now I think we're in a spot where I'd like us to be. I prefer us to be that kind of, not sleeper or dark horse, but like team that people don't expect much of, and then we can rise above. I'd rather be there. I think that's where we're kind of sitting. I believe we're now 1 game back of the 3 seed. So we play tonight against the Raptors. If we take care of business, I think we can actually get the 3 seed. I'm not sure if the Cavs need to lose one more or not, but I do know that they have to lose tonight.
They play today because they play today as well. They play the Hornets.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
And the Raptors, this is just going to be basically a scrimmage. They have everybody's out. Barnes, RJ, quickly, the cheater, Michael Porter
Jonte.
Yeah, did you guys see what he's doing?
He was rigging the game. He was rigging the game, and he had a Discord where he was telling people, "Oh, take my under," and he was like not shooting threes, missing on purpose.
Yo, he came with the same excuse multiple times. He get in the game, he'll play 2 minutes. He's like, "Ooh, listen, I got that eye injury again." He goes out and he beats and then he matches his under for a record number twice. Like, come on, man, are you serious? Yeah. I think these young guys don't understand the business that the NBA is. This is a billion-dollar corporation, international corporation. that has its own investigators. While you're in the arena, there's cameras recording every single thing that goes on in there the entire time. Like, what are you gonna do? How are you getting over on this NBA? Crazy. It was like when Melo said the NBA investigators reached out to him and told him, listen, Melo, we know who you are, we know who you're with, and we know what they're into. Either you want to be a street person or you want to be an NBA basketball player. You make the choice. And they told him that when he lived in Denver. And he was like, that's when I knew. That's when I knew.
So
I gotta erase something I said earlier. I asked you guys if the Kings played the Warriors because I do this every time. I mix up because there were two upsets last playoffs. The Warriors and Lakers beat the Grizzlies and the Kings. And I said they put AD on Sabonis. I do that
Right.
literally every single time I talk about last year's
yeah.
playoffs. But I wanted to make sure that I put
Yeah,
that
no.
in there.
We know what you meant. You know ball. We know you know. But yeah, so like you said, should be an easy win tonight, but the Cavs are playing the Hornets and they're also garbage. So unfortunately we probably won't move up into that 3 seed. But still another chance to just get a feel good win tonight. And then on Friday we'll get a chance to play will it be the second time we're playing the Spurs?
Yes,
Yeah,
So,
so we'll get to see
we played them
Wemby again
early.
in San
We did.
Antonio. So that'll be fun. I think people, because the Spurs are so bad, I think Wemby is equally a spectacle as easily as he is to forget because they're terrible, but it's kind of easy to forget about him. But he's good enough where like when you see what he's up to, you're just like, oh my God, like how is he doing this? So that'll be fun. But something that I wanted to talk about. So we talked about that the 5-game stretch that we made our predictions for. The next item on the agenda was something I wanted to talk about that we briefly spoke on. I want to say 2 episodes ago, where we talked about Tibbs's playoff rotations, and I'd actually listened to JJ Redick's podcast the other day, and he was talking with Tim Legler, and they talked about the Knicks. And one thing that they talked about, which was something that I did say, I said it before. I think they recorded this this past week or last week, whenever
They're
it was. It was
watching.
recent.
The next time when we tell everybody about it, we got to hashtag them. We got to tag them in their Instagram.
Yeah, I think they might be listening.
I know Tim Legler watching.
Right, because I said I was very pro Miles McBride, Deuce McBride in the playoff rotation, and I think right now you can't deny that he has earned. I'm not saying that he's going to be a mainstay because obviously if he gets in the games and he sucks in the playoffs, don't play him. But he is, at the very least, he has earned the opportunity. The stat that I heard JJ say, which to me was noticeable, I didn't know the numbers, but it was just noticeable when you watch on a daily basis or when you watch on a game-to-game basis. I think Deuce is playing less than 15 minutes a game and shooting 29% from 3 or like 21% from 3, something ridiculous in the 20s. Like it was not good. And before we traded quickly. Then we traded IQ, RIP. We traded IQ, and then Deuce starts earning, or Deuce starts earning more minutes, and he goes from less than 15 minutes a game to like 20 plus,
48.
almost 30. Like he's playing like, I mean, yeah, Brunson's out. He's playing 48 minutes a game. And all of a sudden his 3-point shooting goes from 21% to 29%, whatever it is. I got to revisit it. But it goes from that number. I think he's shooting 42% from 3 now.
That's right.
And I don't know. I don't think we had our group chat then. But the game that told me Deuce was going to be like the game that sold me automatically, because I think you can see it with some guys early. You can see it with some guys late. I think the reason that I caught it early was just by how impressed I was that game against Philly where we blew him out.
Yeah.
And this is before Embiid got hurt. Or it might have been before Embiid got hurt. We blew him out. And Deuce came in. I think he made his first 4 threes. And his confidence was different. His aggressiveness was different. He just signed that contract. And his approach was different. And I think that was what he needed, because being that third point guard on a team is always tricky because it's like, do you want me to be a point guard? Do you want me to be a two guard? Do you want me to be like, what do you want me to do? And you could always tell Deuce was kind of thinking out there. But once it became obvious, like, you're the backup point guard, so we need you to shoot with confidence, run the show, and also they're embracing his scoring. I think Tibbs is very happy with letting Deuce, hey, if you're gonna come off the bench, give us some buckets, be aggressive, look to score. And he has embraced that role. So at the very least, he's definitely earned a spot in the playoff rotation. He has played himself in the rotation. He's been somebody asked on Twitter or X, who's been your favorite Knick to watch all season. And you guys know how much I loved IQ. That was my boy. And of course, the answer would have been him if he was still on the team. But ironically, my favorite Knick this season, that's not, a starter, like Jalen Brunson's an easy answer, stuff like that. But Deuce McBride has been my favorite because you were literally watching him improve before our very eyes. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on where you think, do you believe that he's earned a spot in the playoff rotation? If so, we'll start with you, Jai. If so, where do you think, like, how deep do you think we go in the playoffs? Because I think sometimes coaches are like, do we want to go 7 deep, 8 deep? Is 9 deep too much? Where are you leaning as far as, Deuce in the playoff rotation?
I also was pretty high on Deuce being in the playoff rotation. I thought it was like going to be a certain thing because we just need a backup guard. Anyway, we need some playmaking off the bench. I know he doesn't really provide that, but we just need, any semblance of a guard coming off the bench. I thought that Deuce was serviceable in that role. And then he had that game in Sacramento, which was really bad. He went like 0 for 1, only could play a couple. And then I was like, okay, because I feel like as a Knicks fan, we have a lot of PTSD with young guys like that. You see tweets like, name one Knick that you thought was going to take us to the promised land. And people are like, I thought Clay Anthony Early was going to be special, or, whatever, whatever else they say. But, and I'm like, oh, maybe Deuce McBride's just, maybe we're in the moment. But then he answered immediately with that game in Golden State. And since then, his confidence has just been through the roof. And I have a confidence when he has the ball and he is in the half court. Not if he gets the ball off the inbounds. If he's in the half court, I have a confidence that he's going to do something, positive with the ball. If it's a mid range, if it's a pull up three, like I like when he has the ball. I think he's building something, and I really, really hope that this isn't just some sort of, cool stretch, and I hope that Deuce is developing in his way because
I just want to say real quick, not to cut you off. I just pulled up Deuce's game log. 47, 44, 48, 43 minutes in the last 4 games. Like, sorry to interrupt, but I just pulled it up. Looks crazy.
We need to be worried if he's gonna survive.
Yeah,
but I saw people giving Tibbs flack for that, but we're forgetting he didn't play half the season.
Yeah, so he's fresher than most.
Yeah. So
if anybody's gonna go for 58 minutes, it's gonna be him.
So IQ did that when we had that double OT game last season against the Celtics. He played like 58 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a great Quickly game. Man, I miss Quickly, but yeah.
Anyway, my bad.
Nah, but yeah, that's so. When it comes to Deuce and Precious, I think there's a degree of freshness that exists. It's good that you brought that up because Precious wasn't playing big minutes for Coach Rajakovic in Toronto either. So I think that both of them can give the Knicks good rest opportunities, 10, 11, 12 minutes in the playoffs. If Tibbs chooses to go that route, I really think it would be beneficial.
Where you stand on it, Reek? I know you were a little hesitant to really buy into Deuce, but I'm assuming you've since changed your stance, or where do you? Because there is that. It's a fine line because in the playoffs, it's like how deep do you go? How much do you rely on maybe a shorter rotation? So where do you fall on that now?
So I'm thinking so first I will have to be I will have to eat a little bit of crow on Deuce McBride. So I have to eat a little bit of crow, just a little bit though. Still has problems bringing the ball up the court. You want to put pressure on him, he's gonna look like he's fumbling. He looks ridiculous. It is true, but for this stretch, again, we gotta respect Tibbs for this. These two bums we got from Detroit are fugazi. Like, they fooled us. They are fool's gold. You can't come to the Knicks, Bogdan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. You can't.
Yeah, boy on.
You can't come out here and play and be successful every other game. Like, and look, Tibbs is holding them to the fire. They're holding their feet to the fire. Guys are coming out there getting 7 minutes, not DNPs, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and that's good. Keep their butt on the bench. I don't understand why you can't play basketball here in this thing that's going on. But to Tibbs' credit, like I said, he gave the guy, he stuck to his guns with McBride. And he gave him an opportunity. And like you guys are saying, when he came into the game and he hit those threes, I think I'm beginning to feel that confidence level. I'm beginning to feel that he believes he belongs out there and he can work through whatever issues he has because he has the confidence in the coaching of the coaching system, the coaching staff. They believe in him. They're just saying, look, these games could go either way. We should be winning them because we have enough. But if you perform, you're going to get us over the hump. And I think again, I'm going back to my original comments, he has bought into that because they believe in him. And when he come in that game, he about 60% of the time, 70% of the time, even going to hit that first three. And it's a little hitch in it, and he is banging that shot. And his mid-range jump shot, he gets to that mid-range at the free throw line, and I am very confident when he takes that shot. I'm like, good, go ahead, get that shot because it's easy to get. And then we have point of attack defense when he's in the game, which gives us, it provides us a different defensive element than you have when you had Precious in the game. And, because you can't have Precious and Hartenstein or Precious and Sims in the game at the same time. It just is not working out. It doesn't give us enough offensive punch. And when they made the change to McBride in that Golden State game to put him at the start as a starter, that changed everything because we needed a refresher in that starting lineup. So will he make it to the playoffs? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he makes it, but I know that he will get an opportunity to stick. I know that, maybe like I think last year in the playoffs we tried to go 10 deep. I think Obi didn't give us much of anything in some games. It gave us some, but not enough substantially on defense. And so then we shrunk it to about, I think, like 8 when it was all said and done.
It was really 8,
when we got to that, right? We shrunk it to 8.
And then IQ got hurt, so that really made us like 7.5 because you kind of had to give somebody a shot. Something.
And so I think at this point, if we're looking at it and we're being honest with ourselves, we're going to get two starters back, which then bumps down Hartenstein and
well, they said
McBride.
when they said when Mitch returns, he's going to be on the bench.
Yeah, like, he's probably going to be on the bench. But I'm talking about playoff roster, and I don't know, like, because sport. You know how sports is. You're not supposed to lose your starting position just because you got injured. Now it is 50 games, but
hey, when you're out long enough, sometimes you lose that. Hey, Drew Bledsoe got hurt too long, honestly.
He sure did. But so my thing is, we're going to need some guard play. I think McBride gets the opportunity to play himself out of the rotation if he does. So I think he will bump in, but I don't know that I am completely sold on him being the guy in the playoffs that gets it done. I don't know. That's why I said I'll eat a little crow, but I'm not all in. Like, I'm not super Duce right now.
Right. I mean, no, again, like he still has to do it. I mean, he's playing well right now. But I mean, we've seen there's tons of players who, look great in the regular season and for whatever reason get to playoff time, they look like a shell of themselves. So, right. So Deuce doesn't strike me.
Well, that reason is injury. I'm not gonna let. No,
last year was injury. Last year was injury. Yeah. The other 2021 was just.
Yeah, 2021 was just plain.
That was just
Play
horrible.
those double teams.
Brick City. And I think the Knicks have like one of a kind rims because whenever we play on national TV, our bricks are loud. It's like
Yeah.
like you
Like a
hear
mic,
the
it's like 3
like
mics on it.
yeah, like it's not because like it's not just like even if the shot hits front rim, it's just like damn, like I missed that bad. Like but yeah, no, last year was injury for Randall, so I'm giving it past that. 2021, no. But yeah, Deuce could very easily, show up in the playoffs and now he can't make a shot. And then it's just like, well, you can't play. But yeah, I think we got something. Plus, I do like right now that Brunson's minutes have been on the lower side. I don't
Yep.
know if that's intentional. I mean, we've been having some blowout wins, which is crucial. The only thing that I'm just like, is like Josh Hart is still playing like 45 minutes against like the Pistons. And like I mean, look, I get it if he's because the thing with I think sometimes one thing that I will push back on when people try to clown Tibbs for how much he plays people, Josh Hart isn't a guy like how much Josh Hart can go 4 possessions on offense without touching the ball. He can stand in the corner, and now he has been more involved, and I like, but like he's very content with we'll run 4 up and down 4, 5, 6 times, and he'll touch the ball not at all, or when he catches it, he's immediately reversing. So it's not like he's a two-way demon playing 48 minutes a game. He's not always present offensively, absolutely necessary on defense. So it's like not the same kind of 42, 45 minutes as like, Jimmy Butler in the bubble in the playoffs when he was playing, 45 minutes, or like LeBron in 2018 when he was playing 42 plus minutes a game. So
Well,
like,
we would have to get Jai on the usage stats there. But
yeah,
I think though that Josh Hart is a ball mover, and I think he's a playmaker, and I think that that's why he has to be on the court at
yeah,
at, at all times. And you're right, he's not being overused on the ball, but his off ball skills, his ability to cut changes the way the teams can defend us.
right.
So sometimes he's just out there cutting.
Yeah.
He's just
So,
out there cutting.
yeah.
That's
And I
it.
mean, look, hey, these are NBA players. You're getting paid to be able to run a lot. Like
Yep.
I'm not trying to hear that. Like I know
Yeah.
wear and tear exists, but I mean he's built for it, and he's showing it. Um, so yeah, just something that I felt
It
the
is a lot
need
of minutes
to bring
though.
out. It is a lot of minutes. It is a lot of minutes.
We don't want to be all fearful of him, hurting himself or anything, but it is a lot of minutes. But remember in the beginning of the season, he didn't really have a place in the offense because we had too many guys and trying to figure out what we're going to do with all those guards. And so I think he's settled into a position now where, he is he's crucial.
Mhm.
He's crucial. He's crucial to be on the court. And you really don't see you, but now you're starting to see it's always a triple double, but he's always doing something.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, that's just something I noticed that I wanted to speak on real quick. But I think it's time to address real quick before our final, we'll kind of take an outlook of our next few games before the home stretch. But of course, I know you're hyped for this, but Mitchell Robinson is back today. And we've had our opinions on this. Now it's no secret that I'm in the club of I think Mitch is best served coming off the bench, even if Hartenstein and Ra and Mitch are perfectly healthy, like let's just say this is game 1 of the season. I'm very pro start Hartenstein, and I think Mitch is best served off the bench because I think he fouls incredibly too much, so he's never in the game anyway sometimes. And I think just his energy in spurts is better and more conducive to being a bench player. Like I think Hartenstein, like when Hartenstein touches it on offense, the ball isn't like you can trust that something good's gonna happen. If Mitch is touching the ball offensively, it's probably like a second on the shot clock, and he's either got to throw it up or like pray for the best. So Mitch comes back tonight. It's been, I think it was an ankle injury that kept him out, for weeks, a very long time, and he was very upset about it. And it was very open about it, and you feel for him because I feel like every year for the last 2-3 years, it's always some kind of rough injury, and one thing that he mentioned was like, I do everything that I'm told to do, because I think he takes his, you can tell, like, what was the criticism of him in his rookie year and his sophomore year? You need to bulk up. He did that. You need to be more active on the offensive glass. Not just he did that, but you need to still be able to move and guard smaller players. He still worked on that, so you can tell he receives criticism, constructive criticism, well, but for whatever reason, the injuries they just keep finding him, and that's tough to deal with. But it's no secret where I stand. He's coming back, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy for Mitch. I'm rooting for Mitch, but I think he's best served on the bench. Like, even if let's say we extend him beyond next season, I think he's best served as a bench big, and I think Hartenstein is more of a starter. Reek, I'll let you have it. I know you're excited for it, so
Oh no,
the day has
I'll
come.
let
The day has come.
I honestly just want to hear everybody's perspective, but I want to hear Jai's now. If I can pass it off to Jai on this one, because I just want to get it all in. I just want to understand where everybody is. So Jai, what are your thoughts on Mitch coming back tonight?
I thought
Then I'll finish, and then I'll share mine. Go ahead. Sorry.
I thought that because of everything that was happening in the season, the start to the season that he was having was understated. He was starting to gain national recognition for offensive rebounding and blocking. And then that whole story came out with him with his high school coach, and things were looking up. And then he gets hurt 7 days later. We make the big trade. Knicks go on a run. Everybody forgets about Mitchell Robinson. But one thing I do want to talk about with Hartenstein is right now, I think during the playoffs last year, I wanted Hartenstein to start as well in some instances after the Cleveland series, because Mitch to me sometimes can be frustrating when it comes to presence and awareness, especially when we're talking about pick and roll defense and playing defense on the perimeter or playing defense with somebody who can stretch the floor a little bit. And that's something where I feel like Hartenstein made a better progression during his time as a Knick. When Hartenstein first came to the Knicks, I wasn't a fan of him at all. I remember his wife was on Instagram and Twitter complaining that they weren't using him right, and I was like, yeah, this guy will be gone by the deadline. But he worked through the Achilles injury. He completely changed his defensive philosophy, his offensive philosophy. He reeled it in a little bit, was okay with not taking threes. And I think that I was just a little bit disappointed in Mitch. In the fact the things that Hartenstein wasn't able to do when he first joined the team, were some of the things that Mitch also wasn't able to do. And in those certain areas where I get the wire frustrations, Hartenstein improved more. So I think that this stint, Mitch is somebody who, if you pay attention on, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, he will voice his frustrations. And I don't think he's happy that he's going to be coming off the bench for Hartenstein. So, I think that this will be a good motivator for him. He's not going to just walk back into his starting role. At least I think, at least what they're saying. And I think that maybe this will be the time where he can improve on those things. And then if we already have the best depth at center, in my opinion. But if Mitch cleans up those little tiny areas, well, I'm not saying Hartenstein's better than Mitch, but if he cleans up those areas, Mitch, becomes one of the best centers, one of the best traditional centers in the league.
Yeah, well, maybe in his time off, Mitch decided to work on his post game, maybe become viable on the block. Most things that traditional centers do outside of catching lobs and fouling everyone. But I'll let you go, Reek.
That's very, very nice. Very nice way to get some more digs in.
I dig.
Listen,
you're
right.
I have a bit of a cough.
Listen, I'm not disputing any of the facts that you guys have brought up about Mitch, his game, his inability to show real progress in areas that he lacked. But in areas where he had strengths, he improved tremendously. And in the beginning of this season, That young man was absolutely incredible when Julius Randle was playing, Brunson was playing, and if you remember, these guys started off a little slow. They got off to a little slow start out of the gate. Mitch was ready to roll from day one. He got every offensive rebound. He got us multiple opportunities to score again. And I do recognize that he'll probably have trouble. He's going to be a bit of a liability on offense when when that time comes, if we can't get downhill and get him lobs. But where he's not going to be a liability is when we need second chances, when we need to secure the rebound on defense, when he has to control the defense from the back of the from in the front of the rim. That's this guy as a traditional center on the defensive side of the ball. There's nobody better. I don't even think Rudy Gobert is better. I think Rudy Gobert is a stiff. I think one problem that Mitch ultimately has is his mobility with some of the smaller guards. I'm sorry, the bigger shooting centers. That's a problem for Mitch. And I think that maybe he doesn't come back and get equal minutes with Hartenstein. Maybe he doesn't eclipse Hartenstein's number total, because I'm not delusional. I think Hartenstein is a fantastic player for the Knicks, and he's gelled with his skill set. His passing is, and now we're seeing his passing and his skills in that regard. But I think it's a tremendous bonus to have 48 minutes with a Mitch is generational. I just feel that about him. His defense is generational. That guy is really good on defense. And when we start playing again, once we find out what goes on with his ankle and then he gets back in shape, he gives us a completely different dimension when everybody's back in. I just need to see Mitch at the center, OG at the 3, and Randle at the 4. I need to see that, because I don't think even with Hartenstein and what he's able to do in terms of physicality, I think Mitch changes everybody's shot. Hartenstein holds it down for the centers, but Mitch changes everybody's shot. Mitch is really good, man. And I think that only what you're talking about is fouls. He's reduced his block numbers to about 1.5 per game, which is still top 5. But then he reduced his block numbers so that he wouldn't foul as much, and he's still top 5 in blocks. And he's not fouling at the same clip that he did in the beginning. He's actually staying in the game much longer when he has the ability to. This kid is really good, and he started off this season. I thought he was going to be making a push for Defensive Player of the Year. He's not good offensively. I don't know what. He's almost like Frank Ntilikina that way. They paid Frank Ntilikina about $11 million over 4 years to shoot a damn jump shot, and he couldn't get it done. And I think this is the same thing with Mitch. I don't know what he works on in terms of offense.
That's just my only gripe. Like, I don't mind.
I think. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, I can recognize. Like, I agree, he's a good defensive player.
He's
it's
not
like,
good.
Good. But more than good. Like, he's great. He changes everything. He's super long, really active on the glass. Like, he's all those things. I just like it's more of a personal thing. I hate zeros on offense. You can't, like, if I was a basketball coach and you couldn't do anything for me on offense, I can get away, because look, defense is you can scheme bad defenders. Like, you can help that. Offensively, when you get the ball, I can't trust you to do anything productive with it, you're useless to me. So for as much as I know Mitch is a lob threat, which is good, he can play that dunker spot, but it's just incredible to me that this guy's been in the league, this is his 4th year? This guy has
count all the injuries, it's about 2.5 years.
Right. But this guy has no back to the basket game. He catches it and he has no idea what to do with it. Like, and it's frustrating also, because we've all seen the clips of him in the offseason going behind the back, crossover, step back threes. And I'm like, where the hell is that in the regular?
The black ops runs?
Yeah, like, I'm not saying I need him to,
please don't take his leggy ass out there.
I'm not even asking for that. No. But like, how do you have all that skill, but you can't do anything on the block. You catch it and you can't do. Can you get a hook shot? Can I get an up and under? Can you drop, step, and bang on somebody? Like he cannot. He is incapable of doing that. Like when you have a guy like that, and in today's NBA, like Jokic he's probably above the standard. But in terms of like what you want out of a center, that's what every team is going to do. Teams are going to start trying to find a Jokic, a Şengün, a guy that can,
But
when he catches the ball, the ball goes somewhere.
I think you got to understand too that do we know that these guys are really asking him to do that? Because when he's on the court, when he's on, what we're seeing from Hartenstein and Hartenstein's game and the ability of his game to blossom, he doesn't have Randall in the game with him. He generally doesn't have OG in the game with him. And they just have to be a center that holds down the defense and changes the shots for the opposition. Now, do we know that they're letting him do any of this stuff? Because you got to work it out in the game to see if you can do it. But no, he's in here doing his job. And Hartenstein, we're able to see more of his game because there's less. Where are the shots coming from for this newfound, Mitchell Robinson back down game when Randall's in the game, when OG gets his shots? Huh?
I do have to say for Mitch, for Hartenstein, the stat came out recently too that the Knicks shoot the most field goal attempts in the last 4 seconds out of any team in the league. And we're not especially efficient in that either. And I think the shots don't even exist for Hartenstein right now. I think we cannot understate his ability to finish that little floater or, from the shoulder or whatever. He has every shot he makes is a bailout. It's never, we're giving the ball to Hartenstein and let him do something with it. Every shot he makes becomes a bailout. And he's able to execute really, really quickly or make the right pass or something like that. So
yeah, even if Mitch can do that.
It's just like the simple things.
Yeah, I'm not asking Mitch to be Jokic. I'm just like, bro, can I get a hook shot every once in a while? Can I get some I literally don't think he knows how to do anything but dunk.
I don't want to experiment with him. I want him to go ahead and finish. Look,
what he is what he is this year.
We need Randall. We need Randall to get as many shots as he can. We need OG to get some shots from the side. We need Dante to keep shooting, and we need Brunson to shoot. Now, Hartenstein is going to be basically a glorified Mitch with a push shot. And so all you get from this center either way is about 4 to 5 shot opportunities. That's it.
That's all we
That's
need.
it. When we're full, 4 to 5 shot opportunities.
That's fine.
That's it.
Just be capable.
And Precious is not going to see the light of day.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough. I know you like Precious.
Jericho Sims is going to never see
banish him to the shadow realm. He's done.
Gone. Oh, Giants 733.
Yeah. Do we have time to look at the last 3 games of March, or do you got to go, Jai?
I probably do have to go.
All right.
I got to catch a bus.
So that'll do it for this one. A little bit of a quicker one, but just wanted to catch up on a few things, especially touch on that 5-game stretch that we addressed at the end of the last episode. Feels good to be a Knicks fan right now. I feel like we say that every episode, but I mean, just this season's been fun, and I can't wait to see. The playoffs are right around the corner. We got the rest of March, and then I think 7 or 8 games in April, and then before you know it, it'll be playoff time. And then, it'll be a matter of, can we overcome the odds and win a championship, or what is the ceiling for this team? So that'll do it for this one. We'll see you guys for the next episode. But for now, adios.
That's a great shirt, D, by the way. Show us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.